Hello and welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of From the Heart, and today we will be talking about Superman, and in fact, the death of Superman. And before you're wondering, where is our humble host? Where is he gone? Who is this man in front of me on the screen? Well, god damn it, it's me. Alright, I've been here the whole time. Because apparently, a little bit of glasses or anything like that can deceive the entire planet. You know, your well-respected friends, your loved ones, they'll never know. As long as you wear glasses and then suddenly don't wear glasses, vice versa, you're good to go. Alright, we've always known this from Superman. That is the case here, okay? But outside of the joking, I've never really read a Superman comic, and I just got this for Christmas last year, and I finally decided to take the delve into it. And I gotta say, I loved it. I thought it was pretty good. The death of Superman is very action-packed. There's a lot of scenes in this that made me laugh my ass off. There's a lot of stuff in here that just made my heart wrench. But on top of that, there is a lot of campiness, okay? I'm not sure when this was published, but the writing in it, the way people speak, is very much so, weird and strangely humble. Everybody seems to like to announce exactly what they're going to be doing. We have people like Ice Chick, or whatever you want to call her, just being like, "Now, I will project my ice to stop the oncoming flame," as they're like all in the same exact room watching her do these things. I just thought that was a little weird. There's a lot of characters in this. The Justice League itself is actually in this, featuring people such as the Beetle, Maxima, and how could we forget the Elongated Man? Just kind of weird. Some very odd names. We also have like somebody, Blood Scythe, I think. A lot of characters that I haven't seen. But overall, the death of Superman is about Doomsday, the maniacal monster from wherever, okay? I know in the movie Superman vs. Batman and things like that, it is born out of Lex Luthor's DNA, but I don't think this ever actually tells where he came from, and I think that's kind of one of the greatest parts, is that this monster, alright, that's where we're gonna start in this great book. This monster, Doomsday, breaks his way out of a cell. This powerful being who cannot be stopped. He has bone shards growing out of his body for weapons and armor, which will later be utilized. He's just so incredibly OP, alright? He is just kicking ass, pounding people into the ground, and there's just like through the whole thing, you're like, alright, he's gonna beat him at some point, but no, alright? He is just relentless. This man doesn't show pain, alright? People are reading his mind, and the only thing he wants is blood, death, and destruction, and for apparently no reason at all. So I don't know if this was just an issue of people thinking Superman was way too OP, and they were just like, let's fucking show the reader something. Because they sure do, okay? So anyways, Doomsday breaks out, and that's the beginning of this. And then you go off into this weird little story about these underground city dwellers that I never knew was canon in any of the Superman things, okay? I thought this was a little strange, but they all kind of talk weird. But they have these war machines down here, right? And they're trying to dig themselves up into the city to unleash their little machines, steal the power from the city. Obviously, this doesn't work out. Superman does kick their ass, but it was just an interesting little segment. And honestly, starting here with these underground city dwellers or whatever, I was very unsure of this book to begin with, just because of how weird and wacky it truly was. They just come off as very odd, okay? Like I said, this book is written, it must be old, okay? It is extremely campy through most of it. It is bearable, though. The story does get good as it goes along. That is where this all begins. Superman must save Lois Lane from this place. This little orphan kid was told by these city dwellers to not tell anybody about this thing that he's happened upon. But I just never knew that underground people were a thing, okay? And even when Superman does save these underground dwellers from the underworld warlords, or whatever the fuck they're called, they just continue to live underground. These homeless-esque people, they just continue their journey underneath the earth. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know how they're getting supplies down there. He even offers them, you can have a place up here. They refuse him, so Lois Lane actually makes one of them, Charlie, who kind of stops this hostage situation and tells him, we can pay you, alright? You can be our underworld informant. So that was very interesting. A totally new section of Superman that I've never known, alright? Like I said, this is the first comic that I've read. But outside of this, you start meeting the Justice League, alright? And a lot of these characters are interesting. We actually have this guy here. I think they just call him Guy, but he's actually a rejected Green Lantern. So he still has his ring powers and everything, but he's not just a part of the Green Lantern cult. And there's actually some scenes in this where Superman's on TV, and people are kind of asking him why he was rejected. But overall, this guy's just kind of a douche. He's constantly calling every woman in the book babe, and just being like, yo, why do you like this guy over me? Yeah, it comes off as very insecure. And then from here, you have Bloodscythe, who I've never even heard of, but has substantial powers, calling from the dead souls in the ground to bolster himself in ways that I've never seen. And then we have other characters like the Blue Beetle, who actually drives around in such a thing. It's a giant Blue Beetle ship. I thought this was kind of weird. I don't know who designed this for him, but it's literally like a beetle, or it comes off more as a frog to me more than anything. They just saved a bunch of people. They're driving off into the city, and suddenly they start seeing Doomsday out in the woods. Now, Doomsday, he is very powerful. There's a lot of scenes in this where he's just straight up murdering people throughout the entire book. He picks up a deer by the neck and just snaps its neck and laughs about it, alright? And then end scene. I thought that was a little crazy. But he ends up throwing this stick through the bottom of the Blue Beetle ship containing all the Justice Leaguers, which is how they are referred to in this, alright? They are referred to as Justice Leaguers. People must have been the first YouTubers ever. But ultimately, they are sent to the ground crashing as Superman himself is actually in an interview. They think they can handle this guy. Nobody knows this guy. Nobody knows where he came from. Well, she obviously came from somewhere because the first page is literally him breaking out of a cell. So I don't know if this is a Lex Luthor deal. I think this is actually after Lex Luthor's death because there's a Lex Luthor Jr. in this and he has fucking hair. And I think he might be dating Supergirl. You know, I think I could have used a lot more context going into this, but I did not, alright? I just enjoyed myself and was just kind of like, what is going on here? Why is Supergirl with a Luthor? That just seems very wrong. But anyways, they're all met up with Doomsday, and what they don't realize is just how goddamn powerful this guy is. They're literally all throwing everything they have at him. It's not doing anything to him, alright? They're shooting beams at him, they're throwing icicles, they're lighting him on fire, and it's just slowly throughout the book kind of burning off Doomsday's clothes to reveal the monster underneath. And I thought that was kind of an interesting part, is as you do go through this, you slowly get to see more and more of Doomsday as he starts growing more like bone shard armor and things like this. But it is very apparent from the get-go that nobody is going to be able to stop this guy, alright? He basically wipes out all these Justice Leaguers, and Superman is basically the only one, okay? Besides, like, the Guardian, Maxima, the Blue Gold Legend or something like that, some wacky fucking name like that. And that's basically what this entire book is, okay? It's about just brutal power from a devastating monster as Superman fucking just struggles his ass off to actually defeat this guy. Alright, they literally get the fight across the entire nation and destroying cities, killing people, lighting people on fire, taking down news helicopters, taking out the army. This thing is absolutely relentless to the point where I've never actually seen a villain in a comic book be just this relenting. So that part alone was pretty interesting. But I gotta hand it off to the little moments in this book that just make it good, okay? There's a scene, in fact, where Doomsday starts destroying everybody. He's running through the city. But before that, you actually get to see this teenage boy coming home, okay? And he's kind of mad about it. He knows his mom is going to ask him, you know, how was your day, honey? And things like that. But little do you know, as he is a little bit of a troubled soul. So I'd like to take this moment to read you just a couple panels here, alright? I'll try and make it as quick as I can. I can just hear Mom now. Mitch, dear, is that you? How was your day? Why does she always have to be so corny? What did she do to make Dad leave us? Home sweet home. What a dump. I mean, I hate this hole. Alright, to where he proceeds to walk in, and she goes immediately, Mitch, dear, is that you? No, it's Axl Rose and the band. We got anything worth eating around here, Mom? Help yourself to the fridge. How was school? Did you do well on your algebra test? And instantly he's just like you care. Hey, what happened to all the soda? Of course I care. Say, wasn't today the day that Superman was going to address high school students on TV? Must have been thrilled to see that. No way! The Super Weasel was called away on some case race, so he had to bail early. Why do we always run out of soda around here? Why can't you ever buy enough to last? I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Just these little instances of the people, alright, outside of the superheroes just are so funny, alright? The things they say, the things they care about, and their ideals. There's literally segments where this kid is just screaming for Superman as his mom is burning to death along with his baby sister underneath a pile of fire. They make a note that he can't quite reach her even though she's like 10 feet under way, but he doesn't even try, alright? He just sits there and screams Superman as he's like miles away fighting Doomsday. And I was like, what is going on? But where things get really whack with this kid, and I don't mean to spend so much time on this, but this just blew me away. Look, I'm sorry, but your little sister isn't feeling well, so I didn't have time to go shopping today, you little shit. I am really tired of that baby being the only one who rates around here. I mean, Dad always has soda for me at his new apartment. And right there, I'm just like, man, what a little dickhead. I am sorry, Mitchell, but I cannot keep up with everything here. This house isn't perfect, and neither am I. But we do with the best we can. Jeez, no wonder Dad left and wants a divorce. It's like, holy shit! Damn! That is some cold ass shit right there. But like I said, it's just these little interactions that make this book so good between the human people. I mean, there's this little story arc where this little kid thinks that his mom is down in the sewers and he's trying to save her with spray paint, trying to summon the Superman, and it all turns out to be a lie that the underworld people told him, and it's actually rather sad how much this kid just believes that. I'm pretty sure his mom's been dead this entire time, but he's like, I will see my mama again. I know she's just been under the city. She wants to see me. She's just trapped. She can't get under there, alright? It's not her fault. And then you just got some of these douchebag heroes where you see things like him saying, this is the Green Lantern guy who lost his occupation in the Green Lantern Society. He actually catches this ice ring chick or whatever her name is. Feels good to get my hands on you again, babe. What's Superman got that I don't? And she's like, class. just the writing in this is so interesting, and I think this book really does a good job at conveying just how powerful Doomsday is in a whole. I mean, this whole thing is literally just Superman and Doomsday and the Justice League just trying their absolute hardest to try and stop this guy before he completely decimates the entire world. You have all the news stations kind of following him in helicopters, and one by one they're being just killed left and right. Police departments trying to stop him by shooting him with like 9mm Glocks and things like that, and just getting absolutely crushed. It's just a book it's just a powerhouse of a book, okay? It's just non-stop action, non-stop points where Superman's like, I really, honestly don't know if I can actually defeat this man, but I have to try. I absolutely have to try. And as it progresses, you see Superman's suit just getting more tattered, and he's getting more bloody, and Doomsday's just losing clothes. Right? You can't even scratch this man, and he just keeps growing more of these bones and things like that. Just Superman, Death of the Superman, very good in that aspect, you know. I would have to read more about the actual making of this, but I really do think it was just a fact of maybe the writers thinking maybe Superman's a little too powerful, a little too strong. And you know what could be just interesting as hell? Making a character that is like 20 times as strong as him. I mean, Doomsday can jump like 10 miles at a time in a leap. He can't fly. Superman tries to use this to his advantage by like catching him mid-air and dunking him into like salt water, trying to use the scientific of like buoyancy to try and stunt his powers and things like that. They actually end up clashing through a bunch of like signage projects out in the woods that have been working on for years, and it's just a constant rat race of everybody trying to stop him at once. The entire country, the entire world. It was just great. It was a really fun read outside of all the campiness. It's just a really good time, and I gotta say, I would actually recommend this. I think this book is actually super cheap too. I see there's a sticker on here that one of my parents forgot to rip off, and it says $8. Can you believe that? And the coolest part is on the back, it actually comes with a little animated movie, alright? There's even a widescreen edition, and you gotta appreciate a widescreen edition. Shit! I'm having a little bit too much fun with this, but this is a longer one, and to be honest, I've gotten a little backed up on these comic books, alright? I've read a little bit too many, and I'm starting to kind of forget these, so I don't just want to ramble through this thing, but I do recommend it, and I gotta say, the ending, obviously Superman does die. I think they do a pretty good job of this. How Superman actually eventually ends up stopping him is he lasers him to the ground. You actually see that Superman's starting to be stabbed and everything like that, alright? This is very bloody. I haven't read any Superman comics. This is my first go. I've been trying to ask people on Twitter, but nobody will answer me. Please, God, answer me. But I'm happy I did do this one because I don't know if Superman has any cool ones like Batman does with all like super gritty things like Batman the Damned or the Joker Wars or the Killing Joke or just all these different things going on. But finally, he is stabbed, and at the same time, he uses his fist to actually drive some of these bone shards into Doomsday Head, finally killing him. And actually just notice that this camera that the reporters are using to watch this kind of looks like the exact same camera from The Killing Joke, so isn't that interesting? Everybody huddles around their TV, seeing this tragic event of Superman dying. The Justice League has finally come back into consciousness. And I can't express to you enough how much the Justice Leaguers, if that is what they're being called, like I said, just how badly they got their asses handled by Doomsday, okay? Absolutely pummeled. But it was very good, you know? It's very concerning through the whole book. You're like, wow, these guys... At one point, they all use all their powers at once. Their laser vision, their telekinesis, their ice shards, their flames, their Green Lantern ring powers. The actual power called to the dead by this man right here, Bloodscythe. And it just does absolutely nothing to him but drive him back for a few seconds. And it just makes for a very interesting story. By the end of it, you know, it is kind of sad to finally see Superman dead. Alright, it was pretty weird actually, and I'd like to see what happens after this. I don't know if that's when like Injustice comes in. I think this was from its time period anyway, just kind of a one-off story, and then I think after that maybe Superman comes back. I actually think there is some advertisements in the back of this that maybe tell you how Superman comes back to life. I don't know if he's revived by like Lex Luthor or something. That is also something we need to quick talk about, alright? There's scenes in this with apparently this is Lex Luthor Jr. He's got a full head of hair and a beard. Isn't that insane? Alright, but Supergirl's with him this whole time, and throughout the whole book they're kind of watching the TV, and he's just telling Supergirl, you know, Superman's got this, alright? You need to stay in Metropolis. We need you as the last defender. And it's very obvious that maybe Lex Luthor Jr. wants Superman to either die, be gravely injured. There's scenes in this where Supergirl's sitting on his lap and he's calling her his love and things like that. So I am just so far out of canon with these books that I was incredibly confused about what the hell was going on here. Everybody, yes, once you get to the actual death of Superman, that is just the end. It just ends very abruptly like that. You have this nice little giant pin-up thing of Superman's dead body and Lois Lane actually crying over top of him. It is very sad, but I was honestly waiting for a little bit more, okay? There's no like shots of the funeral, there's no like dialogue after this really, besides his parents just kind of crying and mentioning a few words like that. Just like the death in the family, these things happen just a little too fast for me. I think they could have just done a little more time to make it just a little more impactful and make this kind of jokey book just a little more serious. But I don't know what I want from comic books exactly. I think I need to stick to more serious things. I'm very excited to read Autumnal. I just read Bliss, and I think that might be my vein when it comes to graphic novels and things. It's not necessarily always superheroes unless it's a very serious, very adult story. So maybe Superman's not for me, considering that I've always just thought of Superman as kind of a little bit too goody for me. Comes off as kind of a giant Boy Scout, the biggest Boy Scout that this world's ever seen. Alone, he is a great character, besides of like Death in the Family, where he shows up and does some incredibly stupid things, telling Batman, you know, you need to stay out of this. Joker is the UN ambassador of Iran now, and if you do anything, you could mess up our relations with Iran. Even though they very much know that he's just gonna plot a terrorist attack or something like that. But that is neither here nor there. We're not talking about Batman, we're not talking about Joker, we're talking about Superman. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope I didn't ramble about this too much. Like I've said, I've gone through too many comics. I think I just need to start reading one and then doing a video like immediately after this, because I read this about 2 weeks ago, and when they're like 200, 300 pages long, it's kind of hard to keep track of every little event. So read this. There's a lot of great events in this that I did not go over that I think you're all really gonna like. It'll make you just laugh and cry, and overall it was just a good experience to dip into this iconic story of Superman, and I'm glad I finally got it. I actually found this in a shelf the other day, a couple weeks ago, And I was like, shit, I totally forgot I had that. And I was very joyous to read it. But yes, everybody, feel free to comment down below what you think. Feel free to tell me about some different stuff that you'd like for me to cover maybe or check out. I've been going to comic book shops recently and just trying to find like little one-off stories and things like that. I just read one named Bliss. I'm really excited to get into this one called Genesis, where this boy actually learns that he can control the world with his mind, bring anything into existence. But of course, it's going to have some consequences. Yes, everybody, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Check this thing out. It is very good. I will give it a 7 out of 10, alright? It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst, and it wasn't average. I think it was very much worth your time. Like I said, the only thing that's really kind of shitty in this is the beginning, alright? When we're dealing with these underground people, because they're just so whack, alright? The way they talk, their intentions, where the hell did they get these giant machines? They literally have this giant earth-digging machine. How did they obtain this, alright? They're not scientists. I don't know, alright? I don't know. It was a chore to get through this part. But after that, once you get to the Justice Leaguers, everything gets better. Alright, you get some nice questions from the crowd as Superman does an interview and things like that. People are asking, what are you afraid of? Is there really anything you're afraid that could kill you? And Superman acts really human in this, he says, yes, eventually something will come along and kill me. And in fact, it's gonna happen in like 8 hours, dude. I'm gonna die. But no, he takes it a little better than that. Death of Superman, very good. Have yourself a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.